Have you ever had something in your life that you know is important, but you just can't make yourself care about it? Maybe it's an exam, maybe it's a project or something that clearly should be important and would improve your future. And yet you sit there thinking like, I know I should care about this, but I don't. That feeling is incredibly frustrating because it creates this strange internal split. One part of you knows that the thing matters, and another part of you just feels completely detached from it. And when that happens for long enough, we start telling ourselves stories. Maybe I'm just lazy, or maybe I'm just not motivated. I can't motivate myself. But in my experience, that is almost never the real problem. What's actually happening is that we've become detached from our own story, from our own timeline. We're living our lives almost like NPCs, like side characters in someone else's epic adventure. We know the quest is important, but it doesn't feel real enough for us to engage with it. A big misunderstanding that a lot of us INFPs have about motivation is that we think motivation should come first. We think, I should feel inspired before I start. I should feel aligned before I actually do the work. And I get it. I've been there. INFPs want things to matter, right? We want things to feel meaningful and aligned with who we are. But unfortunately, life doesn't always allow us to do that. Most meaningful things in life start out feeling neutral or inconvenient or even a little bit annoying. And it's important to realize that the motivation usually comes after the action, not before. You start doing the thing, you see progress, and then you see that it's working. And that motivation begins to build on itself and grow. But if we sit around waiting for us to feel motivated and aligned before we begin, then we can get stuck for a very long time. I've done this too. I've done the exact same thing myself. Just as a recent example, I've lived in Japan for about 20 years now. I've been married for about 10 years. And I only recently applied for spousal visa and permanent residency. The reason was because it felt annoying to do it. There's a lot of paperwork. There were essays that we had to write and get pictures from all these places. I had to go to multiple city offices and tax offices because they don't communicate. It's really annoying. And it was easier to just not deal with it. But because I waited for so long, the consequences were pretty big. The price increased a lot, like 100-fold or something like that. And the process now takes about 2 years to get permanent residency instead of just a few months. Avoidance always feels harmless in the moment until time passes. And then suddenly the cost of not doing the thing becomes obvious. It becomes more painful. Just like if you have a tooth issue and you just ignore it for a while and you keep ignoring it, eventually it's going to become a bigger problem than it originally could have been stopped at. When we feel overwhelmed by something, we rarely stop doing things entirely. And what I mean by that is instead we distract ourselves, especially us INFPs. We have a curiosity for new information, and we have the infinite ability to go into different stories and ideas and possibilities. And one of the reasons for this is because we have a weakness in the extroverted thinking cognitive function. This is our inferior function. This is about the logical side of things in the outer world. Planning, organizing things, breaking a big goal down into small steps. That kind of executive management can feel overwhelming very quickly. Now, other personality types can struggle with it too, but we have a really limited bandwidth and energy to apply to extroverted thinking just based off our personality type. If we work on it, we can improve it, but it is generally a big struggle. So instead of focusing on extroverted thinking and getting things done in the outer world, we go back to our strengths. We dive into ideas and stories and music and art, creative things, things that feel interesting and emotionally rewarding for us. And we start to ignore the uncomfortable, logistical things, the stuff that would actually move our life forward. When we say, I just don't care enough to try, sometimes that's true. Maybe the thing just genuinely isn't aligned with our life. We don't feel that it's important, but a lot of times what's really happening from my personal experience is it's a fear of failure. It's a fear of showing up and doing something that might reflect negatively on us if we fail, if we can't succeed for whatever reason. Because when we fail at something like this, we definitely don't often interpret it as I failed at the task. We interpret it at an identity level of I am a failure. And that is a completely different struggle. That's the difference between like an action level statement and an identity level statement. Not trying suddenly feels like the safest option because if we don't try, then we can't fail and we are safe and we know who we are as people. We haven't put ourselves in uncomfortable situations where we make mistakes and then learn an uncomfortable truth about who we are. So how do we actually fix this? Well, one thing that has helped me a lot and has helped other clients and customers, people in the Evolve community, people who have been through the INFP masterclass, it is reconnecting the action to your values. So here's a simple exercise. First, you want to write down the things that are important to you. These are your core values. And then pare them down into like 3 to 5 different things that are important in your life. Then you want to write down 10 to 25 positive effects of succeeding. This is not just logical effects, but also emotional and relational effects. So what would actually improve in your life when you succeed? And then you want to write down 10 to 25 negative effects of not doing it. Okay, so what opportunities disappear? What freedoms disappear? How are you in less control over your life? And then you imagine both futures. Imagine the life where you actually did the thing, and then imagine the life where you didn't. So what you're doing here is you're creating emotional leverage. I like to think of motivation like a scale. On one side of the scale are the negatives. There's the effort, the discomfort, the logistics, the fear, right? On the other side are the positives, the freedom, the opportunities, the life that becomes possible because you did the thing, even if it was uncomfortable. So most people try to eliminate the stuff on the negative side. But the real solution, at least in my experience, has been to stack the positive side more. Add enough reasons, add enough meaning that eventually the scale tips and you feel the weight of the positive stuff. And by doing this, action becomes almost inevitable. Something interesting happens when we finally actually start moving in our life. When we start taking those steps, new possibilities appear. Your extroverted intuition gets even more excited. Things that didn't exist before, different opportunities or connections, relationships, ideas, they start to happen, right? That's the whole magic of action, is by taking actions, you start to reveal what you couldn't see before. You start to bring out new opportunities and new possibilities. And also, we teach ourselves something that is really important. We teach ourselves that we can do difficult things, that we can take an action even if we don't feel like it, especially when we don't feel like it, because we know that it is important to us or to our future. That lesson alone changes how we approach life. One way I like to think about this is through the idea of a cast of characters in your mind. You have these different parts of yourself, okay? You have your soul, introverted feeling that wants meaning. You have your explorer, extroverted intuition that wants new possibilities and options. You have your guardian, introverted sensing that wants safety and comfort. And you have your commander, extroverted thinking that wants results and progress. So when motivation disappears, it often means that these characters are not working together. The soul isn't connected to what is important to you. The explorer isn't imagining positive possibilities and futures. The commander feels overwhelmed by logistics, and the guardian just wants comfort. And when those parts are actually aligned, though, action becomes much easier. This is, again, something that I talk about all the time within all of my courses. Stop fighting yourself and find ways to align the parts of your personality. Failure is just a part of the game. It happens. Failure is feedback. The real tragedy would be reaching the end of your life and realizing that you never actually tried. Now, I didn't always feel like this, but personally, I would now rather fail gloriously than spend my whole life wondering what could have happened if I actually played the game.